I burned every bridge possible.
I started kind of using drugs that I've never really used before.
I was taken to LA County Jail.
In 2011, that was the lowest period of my life with crystal meth. I had become homeless. I had lost all of my support from friends and family. I burned every bridge possible. That was a period of my life where I wasn't necessarily suicidal, but I understood why people considered suicide. And that was scary for me. So I was able to pull myself out of that mindset and actually ask for help.
Meth use, drug use, and then you meet this group of people that are just having sex, but nobody's asking diagnoses, either they're positive or it's just a really dark place that I thought I was the only one that fell into, because it's so hard to be intimate that when you find a space where you don't have to disclose, or if you disclose, nobody cares, you go for it, and it was really unhealthy.
I actually met Caesar when we were 17. So we go way, way back. We met in university. I was working for an organization. We, the caseworkers, would go into the jails to work with clients who were either newly diagnosed or have been living already with HIV or AIDS. I remember seeing Caesar, and Caesar has a very unique last name. So when I saw that, my heart just dropped.
Hi, my name is Daniel G. Garza, and I am an advocacy director for a nonprofit organization.
My name is Christian Ramirez, and I am a customer engagement specialist with a company called Paper.
People didn't know that on dating sites, if you're straight, it won't ask you about your status. But if you're a gay person and you put gay on your status, it will ask you, HIV positive, yes, no, ask me later. For a long time, I had ask me later on there. I eventually changed it to yes. I was like, what a hypocrite that I know my status, I talk about being safe, and I'm not being honest on a website. So that's when we met.
He was very, very honest about it, which I appreciated, but what he doesn't know is that it sets off this whole roll of what ifs in your head, and it got scary. It was scary for me. I was thinking, I'm never gonna be able to have fun having sex again. I don't want them to get sick and die on my watch. So those were some real considerations I had to make, and those are hard ones. They're kind of dark. I had friends who've been HIV positive, but they weren't close friends. They were kind of distant, so it was easy to just say, okay. It's so different when someone you like and you're attracted to tells you, I'm HIV positive, and I have been for a while, and I actually had AIDS. I wasn't just HIV positive. I think people are forgetting there's a difference. And so it really scared me at first. I was very nervous about it. I had to give it some thought.
When I was completely on my own and I was sleeping in motel rooms, at one point I was invited to live in the house of a guy who was a crack cocaine dealer. That's when I realized, oh, this is not good for me. This is not healthy for me. And that was the point where I knew that I needed to ask for help and I needed something different.
It took me about a year and a half after I started talking about it that I started to date. I remember the first guy that I started to date, we did the usual dates here and there, kissing, but before we became intimate, he looked very shocked. And I remember what he said to me. He actually said, all you can do is go down on me and that's it. I will not touch you. I remembered I was in my knees and I just got myself up, put my clothes on, and I left. I decided I wasn't going to be somebody's tool, regardless of my status.
We got to university together. He had been my roommate for 2 years in a row. He knows my family, I know his family. So as I look across the list, I see height, eye color, hair color, and it all just kind of matched, and I was like, it can't be him. So then I was like, let me look at the date of birth. So I look at the date of birth, and I was like, that's when the reality hit. I was like, oh my God, he's here.
It was me.
And it was you. And I think that's when I was like, oh my God, we found him. I realized in that moment that, we had found him, but I also wanted to, maintain a level of confidentiality at that point because I knew that the list that I was looking at was of individuals who were HIV positive or AIDS diagnosed. So I knew it was a very delicate dance, but I knew it needed to happen.
This was before undetectable existed. Even if it did, I wouldn't have known about it because it was a world I didn't run in and I didn't really educate myself about because I'm like, why do I need to know more about HIV? I'm HIV negative. But that's actually a very ironic phrase because of all the people, HIV negative people should know the most about HIV and how it works and what it means to your life or to the life of the individual who's HIV positive.
I asked an acquaintance I knew who had friends that were involved in a social service agency that provided services to those that are living with HIV, and I was able to get admitted to that supportive living program, and that's where I started my journey of sobriety.
I don't see Daniel as HIV positive or as someone who had AIDS. It doesn't even occur to me anymore. It doesn't affect how I see him. And the thing that really scared me was something that was an affect of being HIV positive for him, which was his cancer. That was scarier than HIV to me. Being that involved with it was incredible, being a caretaker for that.
When I think of the Jose HIV negative running around and the Jose HIV positive running around, I feel so much more in power as the Jose gay HIV positive running around. I feel more strong because, going through that adversity gives you just courage.
So when I see him and I see his evolution to where he's at now, when I look at it, it's like a full circle moment because now he is actually the manager and the supervisor for the program that I worked under. So the same program that helped while he was in jail, now he has overtaken that program. And, it's interesting how life kind of works.
Very full circle.
Very full circle.
The program that saved my life, I now run.
Mm-hmm.
I now run that program.